mean, I think you should, Steve, you got the history.
Yeah.
You should clearly be on there. I mean, I don't
Mike
have
is-
to be, but if no one else is, I'd be interested.
Maybe Mike?
Fine by me?
Yeah, I'm fine with it, yes.
Yeah, okay. All right, so that answers that. Maybe get, when you talk to CPC.
I will take the action to talk to CPC.
Great.
Okay.
Perfect.
So for the just for the, what was the 19th, the abutters on these 3 at least will be notified?
Yes,
And the other 17.
And the
other
others.
And the other 17.
yes.
Okay. Great.
And your policy requires that we do that, so. Anything else on that, subject? No, like I said, the other list is lengthy and best is reserved for subcommittee discussion. Okay, next item on our agenda is to discuss the flagpole replacement, and Greg, I understand that you have some. I just want to report that the flagpole replacement was presented to the Historic District Commission, and they do not object to a fiberglass pole. There is a certificate of appropriateness that needs to be issued. It has not been done yet, but the flagpole height would be approximately 60 feet. It would have all internal halyard system, and the flagpole would be lit at night. So there would be a white flagpole, plain and simple in appearance. As you probably know, that the Veterans Office has solicited for some donations, and despite some really good efforts, the amount of money that was received to date is modest. There is a benefactor who has indicated that they would be interested in funding the remainder of it. However, if that does not turn out to be the case, we will include it in our plan for town meeting in the fall. So the intent is, regardless of whether we do receive funding or not, we do need to replace the flagpole, and we need to do it quickly. So that's my report on it. I'd be happy to respond to any questions by the board members. Mr. Prisco?
I was one of the persons that asked for this to be on the agenda, but only because my personal belief is I don't see why the town isn't taking the responsibility to replace this flagpole. I don't agree with the fact to go out to the public and get donations for it. I think it's, it's a big part of our town. It's right down the center. It's in the historic district. We should take responsibility for it, and we should make sure that we get the right pole, make sure it's safely installed, all the right electrical, all the right lighting is included, and save those outside donations for things like the food pantries and all the other things we always ask for. That's my personal opinion. I don't know how the rest of the board feels, but
Mr. Chair?
Jeffrey?
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. Coming into the meeting, my thoughts were this is town-owned property. It's something that we had to maintain anyway, so I don't think that we should be out seeking donations for something that should be under the responsibility of the town. So I would concur with what Mike is saying wholeheartedly.
Mr. O'Leary?
I wholeheartedly agree. And I think we should, if need be, place an article on the October town meeting warrant to appropriate the necessary funds to do so. Because I don't know that we have anything currently in the budget to cover it. And depending upon what we're looking to do. I mean, we can maybe do it a quick fix, for whatever the amount is gonna be. But if we're gonna do it right, and again, this is the centerpiece of our community, this is our common. It is in the center of our historic district, and to me, I think we should be doing it once and do it right. And we need to spend the appropriate amount of resources, expend the appropriate amount of resources to do it properly.
I guess
Times are tough.
I don't disagree, but if there is a benefactor that's interested in,
If there is a benefactor that's interested,
I view that different than seeking
Soliciting.
donation.
that's,
Right.
So I would not discount it, that's all.
but, well, if someone wants to augment what needs, in other words, what's been presented may be the fix, the quick fix for the situation, but it might not be what we really want.
correct.
For
Right.
something that's gonna be a long-lasting landmark in the center of our common. To me,
Do it
I'd
right
like to do it
first
right.
time.
And if a benefactor wants to take care of it, that's fine, or wants to help offset the cost, that's terrific. But to me, let's do it and do it properly. respectfully,
Yeah.
and
I know a lot of people would like to see us have that flagpole up for the 9/11 celebration. I'm just not sure
That-
that's
that's not gonna
realistic. I just don't think that's gonna happen.
that won't happen.
But, waiting for October town meeting to get approval, that seems reasonable, because it's really not that far away. And in the meantime, we could be working, I don't know who takes the responsibility from the town standpoint to do all the legwork, to research what's the right flagpole, the right way to have it installed, and so on and so forth. But if all that can be going on at the same time, so when we get to town meeting, we get approval, we can move
Right.
forward.
Wouldn't
I
that
guess
fall
I-
under
I-
the-
We are very well along in terms of the approval, that approval process. And any flagpole, whether it's put up with public funds or with private funds, will meet the same specifications. So it'll be the same pole that's been approved by the Historic District Commission.
They're scheduled to meet again, I think, in September. So I know that they've been consulted. I don't know that they've taken a formal vote on it. I was speaking with Mrs. DeFranza just the other day, and I know that it's been consultation, but I don't know that the Historic District Commission has actually taken a formal vote on the matter. I don't know that anything has specifically been proposed. So if we could have John Welch coordinate with them as far as what their scheduled meeting's going to be, to have a plan presented to them for consideration, in consultation with them, so there's not a lot of discussion about it. I think that would help facilitate things in order to have it ready for our October town meeting and get it approved and get it done.
I'd just like clarification. Greg, I thought you implied that part had already been done with them?
There's been a lot of discussion.
They haven't
consultation.
voted
I don't
as
believe
a
that they've taken a
commission.
Well, I'm
formal
not saying
vote.
voting, I'm talking about in terms of a plan.
Presentation, yes. There's no objection to the fact that we would have a 60-foot fiberglass pole with all of the internal mechanisms and lit. So that piece has been done. There's not been a formal vote, but there's no objection to that fact.
You have a projected cost?
No, the estimates that I had was about $19,000. However, that was based upon an 80-foot pole. This is a 60-foot pole, so we think
Oh,
that
okay.
there would be a lesser of a cost involved.
That's just a poll, though.
Yes.
That's just a poll.
How
Yeah,
big
you got a
was the
lot
one-
of
how big
answers.
was the one that was there?
Your guess is good.
No, I know, but, I mean, if it
No,
was an
it's published,
80-foot
I-
pole, but if it were any, do you recall, Maureen?
I believe it was 90 feet.
90
I
feet?
believe it was 95 feet, and then it was 5 feet cut off in 1980.
Right, I mean, so I
gonna be
wouldn't
a
necessarily look
significant
to be
difference on that hill.
shortchanging ourselves by,
I know, why
20
it's 60.
feet.
I agree.
you know.
It's
if it
such a
was-
big hill. You wanna,
Right, you wanna have
Right.
a presence up
it was-
there.
That's
To
right.
me, again, if we're gonna do it, let's do it right, and then if there was a 90-foot pole or an 85-foot pole, depending upon what you were talking about, you know, that's kind of what we used to, that's what the venue was.
I'm
Let's
surprised
try and
the historic
replicate it, and,
It goes to, are we buying a pole for a fix, or are we buying a pole that's going to be there for
represent.
decades to come?
That's right.
You know, so,
and to me,
let's get what we
I thought
want.
that the height of the pole was more than appropriate, and certainly was noticeable.
Right.
I don't want to,
It's perched perfectly,
If you put too small of a pole there, it kind of defeats the purpose,
especially with that big hill.
you know.
I'm sorry.
I agree with you. I don't think this is gonna happen before, 9/11. Besides the cost of the pole, the permitting process, you're gonna need a stamped engineered plan to build the base. Everything's gotta be approved, that it's gonna hold 60-foot, 90-foot, whatever. That's all gonna be designed, and then the work's gonna be done. This could go down 15 feet for a base to hold a pole like this, so there's a lot of work involved, and there goes your cost, that's gonna go up, so.
so, again, I would recommend that we put a placeholder, a warrant article in the October town meeting,
Yeah.
warrant to replace the flagpole on the common. And I would also suggest that we direct the administration to have a like-sized pole replaced, on the common. Materials to be approved, obviously, by the Historic District Commission, and get the plans done and get it going. And whatever it is, it is. Again, it's an investment that we're making for long-term investment for the center of town, so.
Greg, where did the 80-foot pole number come from? Do you know?
60 or the 80?
The 80
The 80
was,
was-
19,000, I think they said.
the 80 is what we originally requested a quote on based upon the original size of the pole. The best we could recall, we had it pegged at about 80 feet. And I can tell you, based upon further discussions, with the HCC, that went down to 60 feet. I'd hate to see us involved in a gridlock debating whether we have a 60 or an 80 if the HDC says 60 is appropriate. I'm just raising that as an issue.
Right, but if the prior pole was 90-odd feet,
Right.
Right.
We don't know that for sure.
Well,
I think someone will know, someone will be able to research that.
And we're saying it could be that the HCC knows that, and they may say that, the reason why they may have come up with 60 and it wasn't there is that they feel that that's similar to what was there before. That pole had, the original pole had been shortened over the years, and, you know, I can't, again, speak with specificity about what the height of it was,
So what I'm hearing is.
but I can find out.
It went to 60 feet as a result of discussions with the HDC.
That's right.
When, well, I would be more than happy to participate in the discussion with the Historic District Commission in relation to, in consultation with Mr. Welch or whoever else you're gonna designate as the point person.
Right.
More than happy to, I did not,
I don't recall who the liaison is. Who's
That's
the
me.
lia-
Steve.
That's you.
That's
Okay,
me.
well,
That's why he's jumping in.
that's me.
Okay.
Perfect.
I didn't want you jumping on someone else.
I generally don't. I'm more than happy to let other people handle this.
It was one he
Isn't
inherited
that the
from me.
truth?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, Steve, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, it is. I can't find anything on the length. That's not that out
Okay,
there.
town administrators report.
Thank you, Jim.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you, Jim.
I wanted to report on the status of the Park Street project. The,
We go to the supplement, Greg, for this
no,
discussion?
I want to talk off the record right now because the board had asked me after I went, put the information together to report on a couple of things. The first is the Park Street project. The roadway reclamation and the grading was done. That was done under one contract. The town is acting as a general contractor of this project. We had another paving contractor that was due to begin work today. He was unable to do so. My understanding is the work will begin on Thursday, that we'll have a base coat down before the weekend. Final coat to be installed, once that base coat does settle in. So, we've bid it out, and if for some reason that contractor can't assume the work, then we'll have to cross that bridge and decide whether we go to a different contractor.
Speaking of the bridge, that bridge is not being replaced at this time.
That's right, the bridge is not being replaced. Culvert is not being replaced.
Which culvert?
It's a
That's
culvert.
It's a culvert.
Oh, it's a culvert. It used to be a bridge, now it's a culvert. State changed the standards. At one point, it was a qualifying bridge, now it's a culvert. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's whichever way
I
it
thought it
goes.
was a
so they
bridge,
don't have to
the
fund it.
span wasn't wide enough,
It used to be, and then they changed the standards, so now,
Put a tuxedo on it, Greg.
which then just passed the cost on to the cities and towns, as opposed to the state taking care of it. Okay. Culvert.
Second,
more of that.
second item I was asked to report on this evening was the status of the water fund for this past fiscal year. The fund closed in a deficit of $82,261. The amount was not entirely unexpected, and I believe the amount is less than what we might have projected 6 months ago. There's some good news that we do have $64,085 available in monies that have been received from the MTBE settlement. They have not been deposited into the Water Infrastructure Fund. So those monies will be reserved to cure the water deficit. Warrant article at the October town meeting. There'll be a small balance of about $18,000 that's left that we'll have to identify a funding source for. But that's the status of the water fund at this point.
Great. I know this was just a question I had asked when we had a discussion was, you know, my assumption is the deficit we have at the end of this year is a result of the fact that we didn't raise the rates early enough.
That's exactly what it is.
And I expect that going forward into this coming year, the rates obviously are gonna, unless there's some major issue, in the summer it's worked out pretty good. We've had sufficient heat and sufficient rain so that we probably have people watering the lawns, and we haven't had to turn the spigots off. That we should, you know, be on the plus side going into next year for water rate.
That's
Which
my,
means we start putting money back into the fund
Mhm.
that we've taken money out of.
Mhm.
It looks that way based on